Hi, everybody, and welcome to So What Happens Next, Season 2. We are finally back, guys, after a really long hiatus. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Thomas.
I'm Amber.
And I'm Neemah.
And we're changing the show up a little bit for this season. We're going to have a whole new dynamic. I hope you're excited for it, because we're testing it out on the infamous Star Wars Holiday Special 1977. Alright, so, speaking of new stuff, welcome back, Neemah.
Hello.
Neemah's going to be around a lot more, hopefully, so we're really excited about that.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
It's like Flash Gordon all the time.
It is.
And Amber's still here. That's not changing.
Yeah.
Patrick's still going to be around every now and then. You know, life happens and people get busy, but Patrick has not given up on us yet, so we haven't given up on him.
You make it sound like he has some sort of, disease.
Oh, yeah, Patrick's dying. Pray for Patrick. Hashtag pray for Patrick 2020. As I was saying, though, about formatting changes, we're going to kick off Season 2 with a little bit different. So we know that our first 14 episodes are a little front-heavy, and we're kind of spending a long time talking about what is this movie about, and we're sort of dragging it through, and it kind of cheats us out of some time because great movies like Ran, for example, we could have talked on and on, but we didn't really have enough time at the end to really dive deep into that movie because it's a long movie and it's a lot to talk about. So what we're doing now is I got 5 things up on the board here in the studio concerning the overall plot, if you will, of the Star Wars Holiday Special. What we're going to do is we're going to take those 5 things and we're going to go around the room and we're going to quickly make up what the hell do you think this movie's about. It's like if you read the back of the DVD box, which for this movie does not exist, what would it say based on the 5 things I've given you here? So those 5 things are Chewbacca's family, the original cast of the 1977 Star Wars, A New Hope, as it's called now, quote-unquote Life Day is the holiday part of this special. This is the first ever Boba Fett appearance, the famous bounty hunter, most predominantly seen in the 6th movie. And this takes place between episode 4 and 5. So A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. So Neemah, you want to start us off? You know, what do you think this movie... If you're reading the back of the case, what's going on? What's the plot?
Alright, so this may expose my holes in my Star Wars knowledge, but we got the end of A New Hope, and if I remember correctly, they blew up the Death Star?
Totally.
So, I think, with that, we have the original cast, which is great, because we all know it's difficult, especially these days, to have a full cast from any movie available again.
Unless you're Disney Plus. I mean, they're pulling everybody in for that TV show stuff.
That's true.
Yeah.
Unless you have a lot of money.
Unless you have a lot of money, a lot of sway. But that'll be good to see. And I think I'm trying to figure out what Life Day possibly could mean.
Yeah, it's what this whole thing's about.
It's called the Holiday Special, is that right?
Holiday Special. So it came out around Christmas in 1977.
Okay, so I see they went away from calling it the Christmas Special, which was a interesting choice because they wanted to be inclusive of everybody, and they're celebrating life after death. Of the Death Star, and I think I would imagine that everyone's just gonna be happy to be alive and with each other, and
oh my God,
in a festive. I think it's gonna be a really joyous joyous
Okay.
time. I imagine they made this movie for fun and as a celebration of the original cast. I don't know if they if they knew what the progression of the series would be, but I think this one is going to be just, a good time. We're going to meet Chewbacca's family, of course, and I imagine there'll be lots of different Wookiee calls, and maybe we'll get to meet a tiny Wookiee. And
like a baby.
Yeah, like a baby or a child. And
ooh, baby Wookiee.
it'll be interesting to see what I expect that to be the case. And then lastly, Boba Fett, the infamous bounty hunter. My experience with Boba Fett is through that bounty hunter video game that came out a while back, and I remember it was really fun. So I can't wait to see how they introduce him into the folklore here.
Oh yeah, me and my brother played the crap out of that bounty hunter game back in the day.
Yeah. So jetpacks, lots of jetpacks.
I completely forgot it existed.
Yeah, it was a good one.
That was dope.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically it's gonna be we're celebrating Life Day in spite of everyone being dead.
Yep.
And we're gonna hopefully meet some baby Chewbaccas. Okay. I get behind this, especially with this Baby Yoda stuff, man. Like,
ooh, that's right.
Yeah, I know. Like, let's see if there's some competition between a baby Chewbacca. Like, are we gonna beat that cuteness factor?
There might be.
I mean, it was like 40 years ago, almost 50 years ago. Am I doing math right? I'm not good at math. 77 was how many years ago?
Yeah, 40 something.
40, yeah. Well, point is, I mean, if it did pick up, it didn't keep. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it would just look like a shaggy dog.
I feel like we would have heard about it by now, or we would have known.
Yeah, like if
there was
a big
one.
deal.
So,
yeah, because they did that with the Ewoks.
Oh, they did. Oh, the little ones.
Yeah, like those were the cute things of the century.
Well, I didn't even know this movie existed until today.
Yeah.
So
they've strived very hard to make sure you don't know this movie. So before you jump in, Amber, I guess to give a little context to the Star Wars Holiday Special and no, Neemah, you're not allowed to change what you said after this. This came out on TV in the holidays in 1977. It only ever happened once. It was considered so awful by George Lucas that he went out of his way to purge it from the planet.
Oh.
So the only things that exist today are various YouTube videos and online videos of digitized VHS recordings of this show. So not only are we going to get the holiday special, we're going to get a ton of local commercials from 1977.
Oh, even better.
I know. I'm kind of excited. I've never seen it, but it's apparently terrible, and no matter what Lucas has tried to do in the past, he can't get rid of it.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks to internet.
No, right. Basically, it's on the internet. It's there forever.
Yeah.
So download it while you can, gang. Hope Disney doesn't come scrub it.
I feel like when you say he purged it because of how old he is, like I just see him throwing like a pile of like
a Nazi rally.
Yeah, but instead of books, like he has
it's just
actual
film
holiday.
canisters?
Yeah, it's just film canisters.
He may well have done that, or I don't know.
I just think of like in Revenge of the Sith or whatever when they're like execute Order 66, and I could just see George Lucas like, go ahead and execute Order 66, and everyone in 77 was like, what the fuck are you talking about, George? What does that mean? He's like, oh, it'll make sense in a few years. And then 30 years later he makes Episode 3 and they do it. But yeah, so this is panned. It is critically bad movie, and apparently the creator hated it. I don't think he actually created it. I think someone else worked on it, and we'll get to that in the second half of the show. But yeah, for right now, it is. There's a reason you don't know about it.
Oh, cool. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping Disney Plus revives it, at least as a joke. But Amber, so those are the 5 things: Chewbacca's family, OG cast, Life Day, the first Boba Fett appearance, and it takes place between episodes 4 and 5. What do you got? What's going on in this movie?
Well, when I see the word Life Day, it reminds me of the episode from Futurama with Zoidberg when he goes back to his home planet
Or the Freedom Day, where he gets deported?
No, the one where he like has to find a mate.
Oh, where he fucks.
Yeah. That's what it reminds me of, like when I see the term Life Day. And so it's probably not going to be that, but it would be pretty funny if it was like a day of...
The OG cast is fucking right now. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, they just witness, like...
They're watching people do it?
This could get... Yeah.
Maybe not fucking, but it's implied. Or they're supposed to find their mate, like, during this, like...
Wait, so Chewbacca... So you're rehashing the Futurama episode, but in this case, Chewbacca has to figure out who he's gonna fuck.
No, he's going to be mated to.
It's pretty much the same thing.
I guess, yeah.
Oh, so that's... Okay, so he's going to create a family.
These Chewbaccians
they're called Wookiees, first of all. Okay.
Chewbacca. Descendants of Chewbacca.
Yeah. So these, like, Wookiees are, like, paired together, and they have this, like, big celebration. And then somewhere in there, I guess Boba Fett comes and tries to infiltrate the Wookiee clan.
Oh.
Wait, so is Boba Fett trying to fuck?
No, he's
trying to fuck shit up.
It could turn into a huge orgy. I don't know.
Whoa.
Oh, this is getting like.
Maybe that's why it's so bad.
I feel like you started something and you've lost control of it. But I certainly hope, in the least weird way possible, that what you said happens.
What else would Life Day be?
So you're seeing it as like procreation day.
Yes.
Procreation day.
Procreation day.
Okay. That's fair.
Okay. I mean, it sounds, without the sex, it sounds pretty wholesome. I mean, Chewbacca finding a family.
Yeah.
And like making a family, I guess. And he's getting help from his friends while running away from Boba Fett.
I'm wondering if there's going to be like a focus on one character, or if it's more like a medley of everyone.
Or maybe there's like a baby Wookiee that is like part of the cast, or becomes part of the cast.
Yeah. And like, who are we going to be following for the majority of this? Or are we?
Are we following anybody?
Maybe Boba Fett adopts a baby Wookiee.
Oh, I was about to say the same. Like, what if you just get the Mandalorian show, but with Boba Fett and a baby Wookiee?
Oh.
I mean, that'd be kind of crazy, right?
Shit.
But it's Life Day, so he has to get...
That's where John Favreau got his idea.
I'm just going to bleed it into mine.
Okay.
It's kind of like Mandalorian, except instead of I'm going to kill... Spoilers for The Mandalorian if you haven't seen it. I will say, though, it is like one of the best TV shows out there right now. Go watch it. It's worth the $6 or whatever. I'm going to say Boba Fett gets a bounty, right? Chewbacca's nephew, let's call him Chewbacca's nephew's baby, is lost. And Boba Fett's bounty is get Chewbacca's kid, but he doesn't know, or nephew, sorry, he doesn't know it. Get the kid, bring him to place. Kind of like the Mandalorian, but he doesn't have to kill him. It's not nefarious. And we're watching Boba Fett get chased by like the rebels and shit, and he's taking this kid. He's like, I got this bounty. Whole thing ends. Gets the nephew home to Chewbacca. Plot twist, Chewbacca put the bounty out to find his kid. Brings him to Kashyyyk, the Wookiee homeworld, right in time for Life Day. They invite Boba Fett in to have Christmas, or not Life Day with them, which is not the orgiastic nonsense Amber was spewing earlier. And like he does, but then Boba Fett goes to fly with his jetpack back to his ship, right? Starts flying out of the treehouse. Jetpack runs out of fuel, falls, hits his head. But he's wearing armor, so he's not dead.
Okay.
But he forgets Life Day happened, and then in episode 5 he hunts down the OG cast relentlessly, like none of that fun, like happy time happened.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah, but it's the only way to make 5 make any sense. And I kind of had an improv at the end there.
Yeah, no, I like the idea.
I'm also kind of excited to see some of these wacky commercials they got going on.
Oh, geez. We're going to comment on those.
For sure. For sure.
Oh, yes. Well, all right. Does anyone else have any last-minute addendums they want to slap onto their idea at all?
No, I don't. I guess I'll stick with mine.
Yeah.
You going to stick with it?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
I stand by.
All right.
Everything.
All right. Well, in that case, we're going to go ahead and take a break. It'll be a few seconds for you. It'll be a grand total of 1 hour and 37 minutes for us.
Oh, beautiful.
I know. So get ready to enjoy the Star Wars Holiday Special, guys, because we're going to dive right into it. And we'll see you, listener, or you'll hear us, in a few seconds. Okay, so that was a thing. I don't even know where to start with that. That was... I mean...
That had, like, no direction at all. Like, what we came up with was way better than, like, what it actually was.
I mean, how long did they talk with Wookiee shit for, like, 20 minutes?
It was a good... At the beginning?
Yeah, that thing at the beginning.
At least 15, right?
Right, they didn't speak at all. It was like 15 minutes of just watching animals gargle.
Yeah, and then the singing starts. It's like, okay, who are these people?
There is way
Why
too
are they
much
relevant
singing.
to the plot?
Yeah, we got that weird circus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot
about
Soleil,
that.
like, type of shit.
We had the circus, and then we had that weird... The fucking... Alright, can we please talk about Itchy's fucking... jerking it chair?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what the hell was that?
Yeah, like
the beat seat.
Yeah, the
the beat.
the beat seat. Yeah, the beat seat.
It was, he's having himself an experience.
Oh my god, happy life day, I guess, to him, but Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. And you know what? I guarantee you that fucking handyman guy totally walked in there and was having some fun with Chewbacca's wife. That's why he set him up with that VR thing, and the kid went upstairs to play with his toys. No one's around to stop Handy.
I know. And she was kind of cold to Chewbacca when he came back.
I know.
She was like, okay.
Where have you been?
But can you blame her? He just kind of up and leaves for God knows how long.
Yeah, like, can you imagine, like, the time he was gone during...
Yeah, because he's already gone in the
Yeah.
other movie. Like, at the beginning of the movie, he's hanging out.
He is still gone as of, like, the last...
Shit! You, has everyone in here seen that Rogue One movie?
Oh, I was just telling Amber that's the one I missed.
Oh, okay, because in it... Or not Rogue One. I'm sorry, not Rogue One. My bad. The Han Solo.
Han Solo, yeah.
Yeah, he's like a prisoner when he meets him.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of assumedly keeps hanging out with Han Solo. So has Chewbacca just been like...
He's been gone for quite some time.
years?
Yeah, he's been an absent father,
I mean,
basically.
He's been gone longer
Like,
than
that
that
kid
kid's
doesn't even
alive.
know
Is he
is.
sending money? Like,
I don't think
over-
that kid is Chewbacca's.
It might not.
Yeah, he's
very
a
well.
little too lumpy.
What's his name?
Should have been dumpy.
Should have been Dumpy, because that thing looked like a fucking hairy turd.
It did.
That was horrible.
Nice.
It did. But all of those all the Wookiee things were terrifying.
Yeah.
I think they were horrible, except Chewbacca.
Mm-hmm.
The faces, and when they, at the end, when they're all wearing those cloaks.
Yeah.
That was a little bit
If
strange.
that's not a cult, I don't know what is.
I mean, I'd love to, like, talk plot points of this movie if there was a plot to be seen.
Oof.
This movie just is things that happened.
Yeah, it was a total scatter shot of events
Yeah.
And
that were like barely connected.
Also, did the cartoon happen?
Oh yeah. That's what I was also a little
Like,
unclear about.
I'm confused on that. Is that like a real thing? Or was that
I
just
think
like
they made that
a
up.
made up...
Yeah.
At first, I thought it was like following the story, but like,
Right.
they were like mixing in a cartoon.
Like, for the sake of variety. I thought it was
Yeah.
like, oh, here's Star Wars, but it's animated, but like this is actually happening. But then the kid's just like, hooray, that was so great. I'm like,
But yeah, he was watching it. He was watching it on a TV set
Yeah.
of some sort, and because the plot the cartoon started with Han and Chewbacca being chased, which is what was happening
Yeah.
beforehand. So that seemed like it was a continuation. But then, and Luke was there looking for him, and that seemed like a continuation. But then
it ended. Like, it was like, oh, here's some credits.
kind of went off into another direction.
I mean, I don't understand what was going on, because they were like, oh man, here's Boba Fett, who apparently, in Star Wars, if you just say the word friend at the end of every other sentence, everyone in the universe will just fucking trust you. Like, what the fuck was that? No, don't worry.
Yeah, and even C-3PO was just like, just because he calls you friend doesn't mean you're actually friends.
Oh my, I think this man might want to kill us. No, don't worry about it, friend. Oh, never mind. I think this guy's alright. That whole sequence was just...
Yeah. And the fact that everyone seemed like they were on something, like...
I know.
They were smoking blunts
It was
all
a fever
day.
dream.
It was. This was like a bad trip for everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone involved.
Well, speaking of bad trips, I will say there's some crazy trivia about this movie.
Ooh, throw it at us.
Let's hear them.
So, speaking of bad times and things, apparently the B. Arthur's like musical number in the cantina took like an entire day to film.
Oh, wow.
Because all the people in the alien suits started passing out.
Oh, God.
Because, and it's not like, oh man, they're dehydrated. It's like, oh man,
Like
they're
heat stroke?
They're drunk.
they can't breathe.
Oh.
So they had to have oxygen tanks on set ready for these guys.
Goodness.
Like, what the fuck? And it makes sense looking at it now, because if you see all those, like, some of those guys don't even look like they can walk.
Yeah.
Like that devil guy that comes in, he's kind of like leaned back doing like a little crimp walk thing. I'm like, why can't that man walk? Why is he walking like that?
Because he's about to pass out.
Yeah, they all were, and that's probably where they were all going. Why they didn't want to get up, because they were like,
probably...
oh shit, if we get up, we're going to fall over and we're going to die. This is terrible. The other bit, I mean, I had said it earlier how Lucas like had every master copy of this destroyed in order so that it would never be aired again.
Incinerated. But
apparently, at least according to, I believe, one of the writers on this, the nonsense about the Wookiees just having like an entire Wookiee sequence was Lucas's idea. Well, he was like, no, this is perfect. And they said, no, it'll just be the Wookiees making noise for, an hour. And he was like, no, it'll be great.
Yeah. He's like, it's needed. It's
okay.
The writer's name is Bruce Vilanch. He said he feared that the special would turn into, quote, one long episode of Lassie, end quote. But apparently, according to Vilanch, Lucas originally intended for the story of Chewbacca's family to appear somewhere in the Star Wars saga. So that could have been a fucking movie.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine watching 2 hours of...
I wonder, I feel like the family kind of arrangement, maybe, I'm trying to think of like back in the late 70s, if that was like a sitcom sort of structure that was common, and maybe... I
mean, it definitely had that sitcom feeling to it.
It kind of felt like,
you have this
sad,
like family that's,
No, for sure. Well, I mean, it was clearly a sitcom. It's like you have the one little room and everything's kind of happening there. We were totally right, though. Bruce Vilanch, one of the writers for this, admitted he was doing a lot of cocaine when they were writing this.
He did. He did admit that.
For sure.
Okay.
He did admit that.
Yeah. Apparently, also, I guess George Lucas gave a VHS copy to Carrie Fisher as like a gift or something like that. And
she torched it right.
No, allegedly she would play it she'd play it at parties when she wanted people to leave. She would turn it on and then let it go.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's great.
Good on her.
Yeah, I read that. I was like, oh wow, I'd do that if I really wanted people to leave. Turn on this fucking nonsensical hour and a half.
Let's turn
long.
on the room.
Totally repel any sort of social.
Well, because even us watching, it's like some stuff was funny, but I mean, good lord, I don't think I could suffer through that again.
Yeah.
Like another round of that anytime soon.
Like to forcibly have yourself watch that
with other people. I think if I was watching it alone, I would jump out the window and kill myself. There's no way. This is done. But yeah, I mean, even if all three of us are like, oh yeah, hey, we watched it last year around this time, let's watch it again. But, let's not do that.
Just think about like the entirety of your life.
Dang.
How
and
you,
I
if
thought
you really
Flash
want to
was
say that
bad,
like
but this is
that's
like
how you're
on
going
a
to
whole
use
different level.
another hour and a half.
Not a chance. But you're right, Amber. We thought Flash was bad. At least Flash was like goofy, entertaining nonsense. This was just like it was colors and shapes happening on a screen and some sound attached
You're
to
a
it.
kaleidoscope.
Yeah, let's put a kaleidoscope in front of the camera and just turn the camera around.
Can we talk about how long it took those who were the Imperial guys, the stormtroopers and the sergeants to search their house?
Yeah, all of 2 rooms.
It was like a full day and
Yeah.
a half.
And they were just there was a point where those soldiers were just there for no real other reason than to just be present at the Wookiee house. Oh, house. Fucking mansion. Good lord. Chewbacca, totally the 1% of the goddamn Star Wars universe.
And that's why Miss Chewbacca is still with.
Mm-hmm. That's why she didn't leave him for Handy.
Yeah. She just fucks Handy in the back.
Exactly. While Grandpa's jerking it in his chair.
No.
But yeah, I mean, they were there the entire day searching, and especially it took 2 Imperial soldiers to search this kid's room, only to like end it all with ripping the head off of a stuffed animal that didn't really achieve anything.
Yeah.
I really do think though they thought that kid had drugs in that bear or that
The kid
bantha
looked
thing.
like it.
They all look like they had drugs sitting somewhere.
Yeah. Especially the kid when he's like, no, not my drugs.
No, I swear.
I have nothing else.
There's nothing in there. The other thing I want to talk about is, speaking of the soldiers, is like that trigger happy fucking stormtrooper who's putting the barrel of that blaster in everyone's face. The kid, the grandpa especially, everybody. Yet when Han Solo and Chewbacca come, he's just like, hey you, come over here. And like doesn't mess with the gun, doesn't bother to point at anybody.
Yeah.
But old men and babies, no, we're taking those things down.
Yeah.
I also can totally see why there was so much effort put into the Baby Yoda thing in The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck me, that baby Wookiee thing's terrifying. I mean, we already, shat on
I know,
Lumpy
when
enough,
it was hissing at the stormtrooper, I was
dude,
like,
some of those noises
Yeah.
the Wookiees were making were like, not even like the, they were like a, and I was like, what the shit was that? There are plenty of reviews for this movie, though. I mean, if anyone thought that the reviews and stuff that people had for the 8th Star Wars movie were like crazy ranting nonsense fests, these are on a whole.
People actually went in.
Well, people went hard. I mean, I had to like really look through and be like, I don't want to read 5-paragraph essays of.
This really bothered some
it
people.
bothered people because they were like, the major thing I see in a lot of these is that they were kids. They saw Star Wars and their life was like changed, and then this shit was announced and they were like, oh my fucking god, and then it happened and they were like, everything is a lie, and I hate, like they hated it. So this has been hated since it came out.
Yeah.
It had on IMDb, it had a like 2 out of 10 stars.
Ooh.
And all the reviews are pretty damn low. One of them, 1 out of 10 stars, is just titled "Obi-Wan Said It Best." Quote, I felt a great disturbance in the Force as if a million voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. I fear something terrible has happened. End quote. Yes, Obi-Wan, we all felt it. Just moments after the closing credits began scrolling down our television screens. Personally, I've actually considered buying a used VCR and a copy of this video on eBay as a surefire cure for the occasional constipation that many of my generation suffer from. What?
Huh?
So this video helps him poo?
It sounds like it.
Oh, there's more. Since just the thought of watching this again after 28 years makes my bowels quiver and purge.
Oh my.
Like so many, I was a Star Wars addict. and waited with great anticipation for several months after the network began hyping.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, hyping.
Several months.
Several months. This shit was hyped. hyping this sickening attempt to cash in on the Christmas is just around the corner toy market. But exactly what toys could one expect to find on the shelves that could be identified with this special? Let's see. Perhaps Art Carney or Beatrice Arthur action figures. And
Pour me a drink.
oof. Yeah, I regret not drinking through that. That was that needs alcohol, I think, without a doubt.
It does.
Copious
it needs
amounts.
alcohol and drugs.
Oh, I think that they were all on all of that. I mean, Jesus Christ. The way Chewbacca's staring at the end, and he's just like,
Yeah.
They're like,
And Carrie
confused.
Fisher like, oh.
well, how she just like buries her face in Chewbacca's cloak at the end, like, all right, I'm gonna take a fucking nap now. Okay. Oh, we're still doing this?
They're so happy to be alive.
Speaking of that, there's so many times in this, especially towards that last like 20 minutes, where it kept seeming like it ended.
Yes, and then it would just like fade in to
Yeah.
like bubbles or I don't
This
know.
was on TV, so you saw the
Yeah,
commercial
that's
breaks
right.
a little more.
I'm really disappointed they had edited the commercials out of this
Yeah,
video.
that-
I was
Yeah.
kind of stoked for that.
I was looking forward to
It would have saved us.
I think the
blast in the
only
past.
way I'd rewatch it.
with commercials.
With commercials.
Because you need that like break in between some of those long sequences.
And that's the thing. Like, think about it, guys. We just suffered through this whole thing straight through. People in the 70s, they got that minute to go, let me go get up and get, pour myself another glass of whiskey or something to deal with this. And,
smoke a
they're
cigarette.
talking about whatever. Yeah, go smoke a cigarette, whatever the 70s people do back then.
I don't know what they did.
There was another, I loved these reviews that, the second and last review I'll read is another one of these, like, I watched it when it came out ones, which appears to be pretty much the only ones that are on here. And it just goes, bad childhood memories. 1 out of 10 stars. I remember seeing Star Wars in the theater. I was first of all my friends to see it. I was 11 at the time, which meant I was ahead of the curve. So I became a Star Wars nut. It was okay then. You weren't considered a nerd. I think they meant action. Had the action figures, the trading cards, books, you name it, I had it. Then came the Star Wars holiday special. Got all excited, sat down with my snacks. It was a chips and soda night.
Oh boy.
Oh my god.
Rager.
And soda.
Oh, and soda. Chips and soda. He was a crazy child. And watched the lamest piece of junk I ever saw. Even at 11 years old, I knew this was an embarrassment.
Even at 11 years old.
He was
How did you
embarrassed for
understand
them.
it?
That's the worst part. He was embarrassed. He watched this and went, I'm sorry.
He thought he had it made. He thought he was in at the beginning.
I think, the beginning of this comes out like he thought he was ahead of the curve,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he thought.
My friends and I never spoke of the Star Wars holiday special. Couldn't believe what terrible show came from such a classic movie. I know there is a bootleg copy floating around out there. I have no interest in seeing it. Well, the whole world is because it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Wow, that guy, I think, feels like he was personally attacked by this holiday
yeah.
special. Well, I mean, it's like, he went all in on Star Wars from the beginning, right? He's like, I'm so ready to be a fan of this. And then they're like, hey, Life Day. That was just, it blows me away. He was embarrassed for the people in the actual show. That's another level for me. I don't think I've watched very few things that made me go, I feel sorry for everybody who was a part of this.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
And add this to the list.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of lists and adding things, you guys think this has any... Would you watch this again? Or, actually, no, because we already said we wouldn't do that. Would you suggest people watch this? In any ironic, whatever way. I think there's no other way to consume this besides ironically, but would you suggest people do even that? Neemah, what do you think?
I'm trying to think if there's there's like, I don't know, anything, maybe three things or anything at all that from this that is like worth taking away or like worth knowing about that happened in there. I mean, Boba Fett, this was his introduction. I'm sure at the time it would have been like important to see, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, but
I feel like it's a teaser back then, right? Like, oh, here's this cartoon guy. Oh, look, now he's real, and it's like, oh shit, cool. Like, you don't see it coming, I guess.
Right, unless they this you couldn't have really known much else about him. But what else would have been? I'm trying to think of like what was like.
Well, there are a couple.
What will I remember from the?
Couple things actually, like on the note of Boba Fett and things. So in the Mandalorian show that's out right now, I believe it's like the second episode.
It's only.
Oh no, that's on like the fifth episode. In the second episode,
mm-hmm.
There's this spoilers for it if you haven't seen it, but there's this whole sequence where he meets Nick Nolte's character, and he's like hyping up the Mandalorian, and he's like, there's weird call outs to this special in that show.
Really?
So he says, you're the Mandalorian, you what does he call it? He says like you guys tamed the Impossibeast or Impossibear, some kind of impossible
dinosaur
monster, right?
looking thing.
And that's the fucking dinosaur looking things in the holiday special. Apparently. That's what they're called. The other bit is in the very first episode, that opening there's this opening sequence where he gets this bounty. And the guy says, as he's taking him back to the ship, he goes, yeah, I was really hoping I could make it home for Life Day this year.
Oh, Life Day.
Yeah, so there's a little underhanded call-outs. However, I would say just be culturally aware that these things happened. You don't need to sit through an hour and a half to fucking...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not recommend.
Would not recommend?
You know.
Amber, what about you? Where are you at with it?
If you're going to watch it with caution.
Oh, so you would say go ahead, do it if you
really want to see what it's about, but
just be prepared to not.
Just be prepared to.
I don't even want to say disappointed because I feel like if you're watching this, you gotta know.
Yeah.
If you've managed to find it somewhere.
Yeah. Whatever you think it's about, it's not about that.
It's not about anything.
Yeah.
I'd say honest. I mean, so like I was clearly just based on probably what you guys have heard so far. Like, yeah, I was kind of pushing to do this one because I had heard it was just absolutely absurd. And
a train wreck.
A train wreck of a movie or a show, whatever you want to call this. And but I thought to myself like, oh, this could be funny. Like something's got to sort of hold all these little sequences together, right? I think I still managed to be a little disappointed knowing that this wasn't going to be good. Like, knowing how infamous this was, I was still disappointed that there wasn't even, like, a semblance of a plot. It was just kind of like... Because that's supposed to be, like, Han's getting Chewie home, right? Yeah. That's probably the least sequences in this entire movie, next to Luke making what could be weapons with his droid. Amber, I don't think you were in the room for this, and even when we were talking about it, it was like, what's Luke making in that room with R2 in the beginning?
No idea.
He's got warheads next to him. He's got what looks like a tube. Gas keeps coming out of it. I think Luke is making WMDs. He's making weapons of mass destruction. Biological
why
weapons.
Why did he use them in the later movies?
I don't know. Maybe they thought it was a little too heavy.
He was too smoked out to remember how he made it.
Oh, that thing him and R2 have is a bong. That's why it kept popping out.
Oh, it's a water pipe.
It's a big water pipe, and R2's the one lighting it. And that's why he keeps saying, just fucking hang up the phone and take a hit already. It's my turn. I don't want to hold this. And he's like, no, shut up, R2. Let me take this real quick. And then it keeps spilling out smoke because R2's like, fine, fuck you, dude. And he let it go. That's why Luke's not in the rest of this thing, except in cartoon form.
Yep, and yeah.
Oof. But yeah, no, I think read the Wikipedia page. Read the trivia, read people's reviews. You'll get more entertainment out of that than you'll get out of this thing. Even if I was shit-faced drunk, I think I wouldn't.
It was just like not very creative. There wasn't much. Like I know it's like a, it's basically an opportunity to just see the familiar faces from the movie, but it just was really lacking in anything of.
It didn't do anything. It was like, here's a song, here's another song, here's a way to get to like a skit. But I don't understand what the point of that is. It's just Star Wars the musical. Without actually doing anything. Even that's kind of a stretch, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was trying to do other than just, like that one guy said, cash in on...
Must have been.
The popularity.
I feel sorry for anybody who grew up and had to watch this. I can only imagine what that level of hype...
I can only imagine the pain that you felt.
I know. 'Cause I think, at least in my life, even TV things where it's like Star Wars, TV show, or a movie coming out, it's like, it's never been, at the time, so bad that everyone walked out and was like, this is horrible, I wish this never... I mean, even like how everyone shits on the prequel movies, right? Like, when you go see episode 1, when I was a kid, I thought that shit was amazing.
There's a bunch of cool stuff.
They were doing cool fighting and
cool
shit.
Stuff going on.
Everyone walked out going, it's amazing. Nowadays, people are like, oh, it's bad because...
It seems like they tried.
Yeah.
Like,
this was like, can you imagine, like, it ends, and you're just like, what the fuck did I just watch? I'm amazed it didn't kill the franchise.
Yeah.
That's how bad this is. I think that's how bad I'll say this is. I'm amazed it didn't stop people from going to see the next one. But all right. I think that'll do it for the Star Wars Holiday Special. You know, watch it at your own risk. We did do a commentary on it. If you're interested in at least... And I hope if you use that commentary and you decide to watch this special that it bumps it up a little bit for you. But there's some good jokes in there. It's where we're kind of getting all the names like Handy and Turdface and all that shit. A lot of neat inside jokes in there.
More where that came from.
There's so much more where that came from. Too much more, some could say. But we hope you guys have a great holiday. Speaking of holiday specials, this is sort of like our little holiday gift to you guys. So, you know, we worked really hard on this one because it was terrible. But as always, I'm one of your hosts, Thomas.
I'm Amber.
I'm Neemah.
And we'll see you when we see you.